Our hardworking farmers are understandably angry over the Welsh Government's sustainable farming scheme, and they are quite rightly making their voices heard. Over the last few weeks, we've seen protests intensify, with the Welsh Conservatives leading the charge to have this proposed agricultural policy, which will steal 20% of farmers' land ditched. Thousands of farmers descended on Cardiff Bay recently to air their frustration and anger over this flawed policy, and it was an absolute pleasure to meet with many farmers from across South East Wales and the rest of the country. Without farmers, our plates would be empty. That's why we need to be doing all that we can to support them, not punish them like the Labour government is doing. Make no mistake, the Welsh Conservatives will always stand up for farmers and work with them, and it was great to see our Prime Minister Rishi Sunak reinforce that message when we met farmers in North Wales recently. I was deeply honoured to have won the Devolved Politician of the Year award recently for my work in leading the fight against Labour's blanket 20-mile-per-hour speed limit scheme. This award isn't just about me. It's about the thousands of residents across Wales who are standing up, making their voices heard and fighting with me to have this policy spiked. This is just as much their award, recognising the amazing work they too have been doing, and I'm accepting this award on behalf of each and every single one of them. I could not have done it without them and my amazing team. I had the absolute pleasure of visiting a game-changing health tech company based in Caldicot recently, which is developing the holy grail in diabetes monitoring. Afon Technology is creating the world's first wearable, non-invasive blood glucose monitoring device, which has the power to drastically transform the lives of people with diabetes. Students at Coleg Gwent's Torfaen Learning Zone gave me an insight into 3 important projects they've been working on recently. This involved the students identifying a problem in their local area and going out in the community to help bring about a positive change. Students picked food poverty, lack of access to digital devices, and littering as their core problems, and set about looking deeper into the issues. They presented me with their findings, and I'm also looking forward to working with them to implementing their ideas. Not too long ago, I swapped politics for construction and tried to build a birdhouse under the watchful eye of some fantastic apprentices in the Senedd. Needless to say, I didn't quite have what it takes to forge a career in the industry, but it was a great opportunity to find out more about the apprenticeships on offer and what their studies entail. Lloyds Banking Group headquarters in Newport was a place I visited recently to meet with their domestic and financial abuse team. The 30-strong team based in the Bankings Group hub in Dufferin in Newport supports victims of domestic and financial abuse to help them regain control of their finances and ultimately rebuild their lives. Victims can call the team on 0800 06 65703. The Welsh Conservative Conference returned to Llandudno this year with a jam-packed agenda full of interesting panel discussions and guest speakers. With my transport hat on, I was delighted to be joined on stage by the UK Government Secretary of State for Transport, Mark Harper, Member of Parliament, my Scottish counterpart, Graham Simpson, and Sally Gibson from the Road Haulage Association to talk all things transport. Labour's many failures in this area, including 20 miles per hour speed limits, congestion charges, and talk of the dreaded Severn Bridge tolls returning, were hot topics of conversation. Specsavers recently held an event in the Welsh Parliament, which I was delighted to sponsor, about adult hearing loss and tackling the stigma around it. Hearing loss is undoubtedly a big issue in Wales, with figures from the National Community Hearing Association revealing that there are currently more than 527,000 people with some degree of hearing loss. Sticking with the health theme, I recently met with the British Heart Foundation to learn how to perform CPR for free in 15 minutes, with 30,000 people having an out-of-hospital cardiac arrest every year in Wales and less than 1 in 10 surviving. The charity has launched an online free CPR training course. I'd encourage you all to visit the British Heart Foundation website to get involved and find out more. As well as all that, I attended the Countryside Alliance Awards recently, met with Gwent young farmers at an event in the Welsh Parliament and various other organisations, and have taken part in a series of media interviews on a range of topics. In the Welsh Parliament, I've been raising the things that matter to my constituents across South East Wales the most directly with government ministers, including proposed changes to the school year, 20-mile-per-hour speed limits, the Heads of the Valley Road, public transport access to the Grange, Wales's housing crisis, the gridlocked M4, and I've also spoken out against Labour's plans to add an extra 36 politicians to the Senedd. As ever, if there's anything I can do to help, please don't hesitate to get in touch by calling 01633 215 138 or by emailing natasha.asghar@senedd.wales.